When I was 14, my parents convinced me I was a thief. I broke down crying, doubting my memory, my mind, even my sanity. All because they wouldn't stop pushing. They told me the police were involved, that there was camera footage, that I'd better confess. I didn't, because I hadn't done anything. But by the time they admitted, it was just a test. The damage was already done. If you've ever been blamed for something you didn't do or had your own family turn on you, smash that like button. Subscribe for more real Reddit stories of betrayal, revenge, and cold justice. Let me take you back 6 years ago. When I was barely a teenager of 14, maybe 15, my mom and I were the only ones home. Dad was away for work, or at least that's what I'd been told. One day, some cash went missing from a cupboard in our house. No break-in, no mess, just gone. Apparently, my dad had asked my mom to give a specific amount of money to someone he was sending over some kind of personal errand. But when he called back later, furious, he claimed there was supposed to be more money in the cupboard than what she'd given out. That was the spark. My mom didn't understand what he meant. Neither did I. I didn't even know the money existed. A few days later, I came home from school. Back then, I was tired, anxious. The usual school drama weighing on my shoulders. What I walked into was far worse. Both my parents were sitting in the living room, their faces stone cold serious. No TV, no phones. Just me and them. My mom motioned for me to sit down. We need to have a serious talk. She said that. My stomach dropped. They said they knew what I did. They said it would be easier if I just admitted it. I was confused, genuinely admit what I asked. They told me money had been stolen, and they knew I was the one who took it. I laughed nervously at first. This has to be a joke, right? But they weren't smiling. They said, "We're not angry, we just want the truth. If you come clean now, it'll be okay." When I said I didn't know what they were talking about, their tone shifted. They got louder, more aggressive, angrier. "Don't lie to us," my dad snapped. "We saw the footage." Footage? What footage? They claimed there was a hidden camera in the cupboard that showed me taking the money, and even worse, they said a man was standing behind me in the shot. That part broke me. What man? What the hell were they talking about? I looked them in the eyes and told them I had no idea what they were saying, but they didn't care. The pressure kept building. I cried. I broke down. I pleaded, "Please, I didn't do anything." They told me the money wasn't even ours, it belonged to someone else. That we could get into legal trouble. That my dad had already talked to the police. He told me I'd have to go down to the station with him for 5 straight hours. They broke me down. No breaks. No food. No space to think. Just accusation after accusation. They kept repeating the same things until my mind started cracking. Maybe I did do it. Maybe I blacked it out. Maybe I was sleepwalking. Maybe I'm broken. My own thoughts became my enemy. I started questioning my own memory. That's the moment they wanted. Because right when I was on the edge of collapse, they just stopped. Dad smiled. Mom exhaled, like some sitcom ending. "We believe you," they said casually. "We knew you didn't do it. It was just a test. A test. A test." For what? My honesty. My memory. They didn't apologize. They didn't explain. They told me to go freshen up and eat something. I felt like I was still in a nightmare. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just went to my room. Numb. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, thinking, what if they had taken me to the police station? What if I had broken down and confessed to something I didn't do? They wanted to scare me straight. What they did was break me. Years passed. They never brought it up again. Like it never happened. But I did. I remembered. Every time I forgot something small, I wondered, am I losing my memory again? Anytime someone accused me of something, even something tiny like leaving a light on, I'd feel that panic rise in my throat again. They say family is supposed to be a safe space. But that day, they made it a prison. At 20, I don't live with them anymore. I'm in college. I have friends who actually listen when I speak. I've built walls not out of spite, but out of survival. I still see my parents sometimes. They hug me, smile, ask about my classes. They don't realize they burned the bridge already. I never talk to them about anything real. Not about relationships, not about fear, not about future plans. I keep it light, because I know now, they're not safe. You don't come back from that kind of betrayal, not fully. But here's the twist. I never confronted them. My revenge wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. One time, When they were trying to give parenting advice to my cousin's parents at a family gathering, I smiled and said, "Yeah, they really know how to test their kids." Then I looked my dad right in the eyes. He went, "Quiet. That's all I needed." Now when they try to guilt trip me about not calling or opening up, I just say, "It's nothing personal. I just don't trust easily." You know what hurts narcissists and gaslighters the most? Irrelevance. They no longer have access to my mind. They can't guilt me. They can't manipulate me. They can't touch the parts of me they used to own. They passed their little test. Well, guess what? They failed mine. I wasn't trying to catch a thief that day. I was watching to see if my parents were people I could rely on, and they proved they weren't. Not all revenge comes with screaming or explosions. Sometimes revenge is choosing peace over drama. Distance over dysfunction. Sometimes revenge is becoming someone strong enough to never let it happen again. If this story hit a nerve, you're not alone. Smash that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories where justice comes quietly but hits hard.